Captain Do-hyun Kim stared at the main screen of his stealth ship, the Silent Watcher *. The battle raging before him was both beautiful and terrible. Purple energy beams from the Lumeri ships cut through space, meeting the green plasma bolts from the Vex fleet. When they hit, ships broke apart like toys. "Another day, another battle we just watch," said Lieutenant Ji-woo Park, who stood beside him. Her face showed the same tired look that most of the crew had after 3 years on this mission. "That's our job," Do-hyun said. "We watch, we learn, we stay hidden." For nearly 50 years, humanity had known about the Great War between the Lumeri and the Vex. The Lumeri were tall beings made of crystal who lived for thousands of years. The Vex were a hive mind of insect-like creatures who shared one huge brain. Both were far more advanced than humans, or so they thought. Do-hyun's ship was one of 30 stealth vessels that Earth had sent out to watch the war. They used special technology that made them invisible to both sides. Their orders were simple: learn everything, but never interfere. "Captain, I'm picking up something strange," said Sensor Officer Tadwan. His fingers moved quickly over his control panel. A Vex scout group has broken off from the main fleet. They're heading toward... Oh no. Do-hyun felt his heart beat faster. "Toward where, officer?" "Toward the Sol system, sir. Toward Earth." The bridge went silent. For decades, Earth had managed to stay out of this war. They'd pretended to be less advanced than they really were whenever either side made contact. This strategy had worked well, until now. "How many ships?" Do-hyun asked. 5 scout vessels. Small ones, but they will reach our outer solar system in 3 days. Ji-woo stepped closer to Do-hyun. "We need to warn Earth Defense Command now." Do-hyun nodded slowly. "Yes, but first we need more information. Why are they coming? Is it just normal scouting, or do they know about us?" He turned to his communications officer. "Send a tight beam message to Admiral Soo-bin Choi at Earth Defense Command. Mark it urgent. Then set course to follow those scout ships. But keep our distance." "Yes, sir," said the officer. Do-hyun walked to the window and looked out at the battle still raging behind them. The Vex were winning again. In the last 10 years, they had taken over 200 star systems from the Lumeri. If they set their eyes on Earth next... "What are you thinking, Captain?" Ji-woo asked. "I'm thinking that we've been lucky for 50 years, he replied. "We've built up our defenses while these 2 giants were busy fighting each other. We've taken their technologies and improved them in ways they never imagined. But we always knew this day might come. Do you think we're ready, if we have to fight?" Do-hyun turned to look at his crew. They were the best Earth had to offer. Smart, brave, and well-trained. But they had never faced real combat against such powerful enemies. "The Vex and Lumeri have been fighting for over 300 years, he said. "They've destroyed thousands of worlds. But they don't know humans like we do." He smiled slightly. "We look weak. We look primitive. That's what we've wanted them to think. But if they force our hand..." He paused. "Well, let's just say that humanity has some surprises waiting." The Silent Watcher changed course, its advanced engines making no noise in the emptiness of space. As they followed the Vex scout ships, Do-hyun sent a personal message to Admiral Choi along with the official report. "The war is coming to us, old friend. I hope those secret weapons of yours are ready." 3 days later, as the Vex scouts entered the outer reaches of the Sol system, Captain Do-hyun Kim would have no way of knowing that humanity's entry into this ancient war would last exactly 5 hours and change the galaxy forever. Admiral Soo-bin Choi read Captain Do-hyun's report for the 3rd time. Her office in the underground Earth Defense Command was quiet except for the soft hum of computers. Outside her window, she could see hundreds of workers busy at their stations. None of them knew what was coming. "How sure is Captain Kim about this?" asked General Jun-ho Kang, who sat across from her desk. "Do-hyun doesn't send warnings unless he's sure," Soo-bin replied. "He's tracked the Vex scouts past Neptune. They'll reach Saturn's moons by tomorrow. Su Bin pressed a button on her desk. A large screen lit up, showing Earth and its defenses. For decades, they had built in secret. Weapon platforms hidden in asteroids. Fleets tucked away in dimensional pockets. Technology far beyond what either the Lumeri or Vex thought humans could make. "Call the Global Defense Council," she said to her assistant. "We need to meet right away." 3 hours later, 12 world leaders gathered in a secure room deep beneath the Pacific Ocean. Some were there in person. Others appeared as holograms. Su Bin stood at the front, with Dr. Taiho Li beside her. "The Vex are coming," she said simply. "We must decide now. Do we hide or do we fight?" A murmur went through the room. The president of the African Union spoke first. "Can we still hide? Make them think we're not worth the trouble." Dr. Taiho shook his head. "The Vex don't work that way. They take over worlds completely. They use all resources. If they found us, they will attack." "What about our new weapons?" asked the European Chancellor. "Is the quantum displacement array ready?" Dr. Taiho nodded. "Yes, after 20 years, it's ready. It can disrupt their hive mind communication. But once we use it, both the Vex and Lumeri will know how advanced we really are. There's no going back." The debate continued for an hour. Some wanted to try talking to the Vex. Others wanted to prepare for full war. Su Bin listened, but said little. She had already made up her mind. Then her communicator beeped with an urgent message. Her face went pale as she read it. "What is it?" asked the Chinese premier. Su Bin looked up with hard eyes. "The Vex have attacked our research station on Titan. The whole base is gone. 500 people were there, including Dr. Taiho's sister, Minji." The room went silent. Dr. Taiho fell into a chair, his face blank with shock. "They've made the choice for us," Su Bin said quietly. "This is no longer about hiding. This is about survival." The vote was quick and unanimous. Earth would fight. As the leaders left, General Junho approached Su Bin. "How long have you been preparing for this day?" he asked. "Since I'd first learned about the war," she replied. 50 years of watching, learning, and building. We've taken the best parts of both Lumeri and Vex technology and made them better. We've done in 5 decades what took them thousands of years. But they have millions of ships, hundreds of worlds." Su Bin nodded. "Yes. And they've been fighting for so long they've forgotten how to think in new ways. But humans," she smiled slightly, "we are very good at finding new ways to fight." In a lab nearby, Dr. Taiho stood looking at a picture of his sister. Minji had been the lead researcher on Titan, studying Vex biology. Now she was gone. He put the picture down and turned to his computer. On the screen was a plan he had been working on with General Junho. It had a simple name: the 5-hour plan. "We'll make them pay, Minji," he whispered. "And we won't need centuries to do it." Across the solar system, Captain Du Hyun's ship silently tracked the Vex scouts as they moved deeper into human territory. The countdown to war had begun. Commander Yun Jae-yoon's ship, the Peace Bridge moved slowly toward the giant Lumeri space station. The station looked like a huge crystal flower floating in space, with 6 long petal-shaped arms stretching out from its center. "They're scanning us," said pilot Howon. "Should I raise shields?" "No," Yun-jae said. "We come in peace. Let them see that." Yun-jae was nervous but didn't show it. Her job was to make the Lumeri help Earth, or at least not get in the way. It wouldn't be easy. The Lumeri thought of humans as simple creatures, barely worth talking to. "They're sending a message," said Communications Officer Da Seong. "They want only you to come aboard, Commander. No one else." Yun-jae nodded. As expected, she stood up and straightened her uniform. "If I'm not back in 3 hours, leave and tell Admiral Choi what happened." The inside of the Lumeri station was beautiful. The walls glowed with soft blue light, and the floors were so clear they looked like water. Yunjie followed a tall Lumeri guard to a large round room where 3 crystal beings waited. The tallest one spoke in a voice that sounded like wind chimes. "I am Admiral Crystallic. That is the closest your simple language can come to my name." The Lumeri didn't have faces like humans, but Yunjie could feel this one looking down at her. "Why do you come to us now, human? Your kind has hidden from this war for decades." Yunjie bowed slightly. "The Vex have attacked us. They destroyed our base on Titan and killed many people. We are going to fight back, and we thought you should know." The 3 Lumeri made sounds like quiet laughter. "You? Fight the Vex? Little human, the Vex control half the galaxy. They have destroyed 1,000 of our worlds. What can your few ships do?" "More than you might think," Yunjie said calmly. She took out a small device and placed it on the floor. It projected a hologram showing Earth's quantum displacement array firing at a test target. The target, an old moon, simply disappeared. The Lumeri went silent. "That's not possible," said one of them finally. "Your kind doesn't have that technology." "We have many things you don't know about," Yunjie said. "We've been watching your war for 50 years, learning from both sides." She turned off the hologram. "We don't need your help to defeat the Vex fleet coming to our system, but we thought an alliance might be useful for what comes after." As they talked, a younger Lumeri named Prismatic listened from a nearby room. Unlike most Lumeri, who saw humans as primitive, Prismatic had studied Earth with great interest. Humans changed and grew so quickly compared to the Lumeri, who lived for thousands of years and rarely had new ideas. When the meeting ended without an agreement, Prismatic followed Yunjie to her shuttle. "Human," the young Lumeri called out, "I have something for you." Prismatic handed Yunjie a crystal data drive. "This contains information about the Vex that our leaders won't share. Their main weakness is in how their hive mind works. If you can disrupt the connection between their ships even for a few minutes." "Why are you helping us?" Yunjie asked. "Because in 500 years of watching your species, I've learned something my people refuse to see. Humans solve problems in ways we can't imagine. You might actually win this war." Yunjie took the drive. "Thank you." As her shuttle returned to the Peace Bridge Yunjie studied the data. What she found made her smile. The Vex had a serious weakness, one that Earth's new weapons could exploit perfectly. "Set course for Earth," she told Hao-1, "and send a message to Admiral Choi. The 5-hour plan will work." General Jun-Ho Kang walked around the large round table where Earth's best military minds had gathered. On the table, a 3D map showed the solar system with red dots marking the Vex ships that were now near Saturn. "They'll reach Earth in 2 days," Jun-Ho said. "We need to be ready." Commander Haenul Shin raised her hand. She was small but strong, and everyone knew she was the best soldier Earth had. "My teams are ready, sir. Just tell us where to hit them." "That's what we're here to decide," Jun-Ho replied. He turned to a tall man with glasses who stood quietly in the corner. "Dr. Sang-Min Park, please show us the plan." Sang-Min stepped forward and touched the table. The map changed to show Earth's hidden fleet and weapons. "The Vex think they're attacking a weak planet," he said. "They have no idea what's waiting for them." He pointed to the map. "We call it the 5-hour plan because that's how long it will take to end this war." Commander Haenul looked doubtful. 5 hours to end a war that's been going on for centuries. That sounds impossible. "Not for humans," Sang-Min said with a small smile. "Let me explain why. The Vex and Lumeri have been fighting the same way for hundreds of years. They don't change or adapt quickly." He pressed a button and showed pictures of both alien species. The Lumeri live for thousands of years. They're careful and slow to act. The Vex are a hive mind that thinks as one big brain. They're strong together, but can't think individually. He looked around the room. "But humans, we evolved as both hunters and prey. We can think as a group or as individuals. We adapt quickly. And most importantly, we can do things neither side expects. The room was silent as everyone thought about this. Then Haenul spoke again. So what exactly is the plan? Dr. Sangmin showed a new image, a strange device shaped like a star. This is the quantum displacement array. It sends out a special wave that disrupts the vexed hive mind. When we fire it, every Vex ship in our system will lose contact with each other for exactly 1 hour. General Junho continued. During that hour, Commander Haenul's special forces will board the main Vex ships. Captain Duhyun's fleet will attack from behind Saturn, and Lieutenant Jiwoo Park will lead a team to place quantum beacons on key Vex ships. What do these beacons do? Someone asked. They create small wormholes, Sangmin explained. In the second hour, we'll use these wormholes to send special bombs to every major Vex base in the galaxy at the same time. Haenul whistled. That's clever. They won't expect an attack from inside their own territory. Exactly, said Junho. In the third and fourth hours, Admiral Subin's main fleet will push the Vex back while the beacons do their work. And in the fifth hour, he paused and looked at Dr. Sangmin. In the fifth hour, Sangmin said quietly, we end the war, but not by destroying the Vex. We'll use a special device that changes their hive mind. It won't kill them, but it will take away their desire to conquer and destroy. Commander Haenul looked surprised. We're not going to wipe them out. After what they did to Titan. Dr. Sangmin shook his head. That's what makes us different from them. We fight to end wars, not to destroy entire species. As they finished discussing the details, a message arrived from Commander Yunjae. The information she had gotten from Prismatic confirmed their plan would work. General Junho looked at everyone in the room. Get ready. When the Vex attack Earth, they'll have no idea that the 5-hour countdown to their defeat has already begun. The first Vex ships entered Earth's orbit early on a Tuesday morning. There were 50 of them, each shaped like a giant green insect with glowing eyes. They were just the first wave. Behind them, near Mars, waited 500 more. Captain Do-hyun Kim watched from his ship, which was hiding behind Earth's moon. According to the 5-hour plan, he was supposed to wait and let the Vex think they had the upper hand. They're sending a message to all Earth channels, said Lieutenant Jiwoo Park. She put it on the main screen. A strange face appeared, part insect, part machine. Its many eyes blinked at different times. When it spoke, its voice buzzed like 1,000 bees. Humans of Earth, we are the Vex. Your world is now ours. Do not fight back. It will only bring you pain. Do-hyun smiled a little. The Vex had no idea what was coming. Down on Earth, Admiral Subin Choi sent the agreed-upon response. We surrender. Please don't hurt our people. The Vex message came back quickly. Send your leaders to these coordinates to discuss the terms of your surrender. Subin looked at General Junho. They took the bait. They think we're weak. Junho nodded. Good. That's exactly what we want. Meanwhile, Captain Do-hyun moved his ship to the Jupiter defense line, a small group of Earth ships that would pretend to make a last stand. When the main Vex fleet arrived, they fired a few weak shots, just enough to look like they were trying to defend their home. The Vex ships fired back, destroying 2 of Earth's smallest ships. The humans retreated, acting scared and defeated. They're following us, Do-hyun said with a smile. Just as planned. As the Vex chased the retreating Earth ships, they called for their reserve forces. Soon, all 1,000 Vex ships had entered the Sol system, ready to claim their easy victory. What they didn't know was that Lieutenant Jiwoo Park and her small team had left Do-hyun's ship in tiny stealth pods. While the Vex were focused on chasing the human fleet, Jiwoo's team attached themselves to 5 key Vex command ships. We're in position, Captain. Jiwoo reported from inside a Vex ship. She and her team wore special suits that hid them from Vex sensors, beginning to place the quantum beacons. The beacons were small devices, no bigger than a coin, but they were key to the 5-hour plan. Jiwoo placed them carefully in the ship's engine rooms. On the main Vex command ship, the Hive Lord Collective, the leader of all Vex in this sector, was pleased. The humans were even weaker than expected. This would be an easy conquest. Begin landing troops, the Hive Lord ordered. Take their major cities first. But just as the Vex prepared to attack Earth, Admiral Subin gave the order. Activate the quantum displacement array. Hidden in Earth's orbit, the star-shaped device powered up. It sent out an invisible wave that washed over every Vex ship. Suddenly, all the Vex screens went dark. The constant buzz of the hive mind that connected all Vex went silent. For the first time in their existence, each Vex was alone in its own mind. Panic spread through the Vex fleet. Without the hive mind, they didn't know how to think or act as individuals. Their ships drifted in space, their crews confused and afraid. On board his ship, Captain Do-hyun Kim checked the time. The 5-hour plan has begun, he said. Hour 1. Complete. He gave the order that would start the real battle. All ships, reveal yourselves. Begin the counter-strike. Across the solar system, hundreds of Earth ships appeared from their hiding places. The true strength of humanity was finally revealed, and the Vex were about to learn why that was a terrifying thing. As Hour 2 began, the space around Earth came alive with activity. Human ships appeared from everywhere, from behind the moon, from inside asteroid fields, and even from what looked like empty space. The Vex ships, still confused without their hive mind, didn't know which way to turn. General Jun Ho Kang watched from his command ship, hidden until now behind Saturn's rings. All ships, attack pattern Alpha. Target their weapon systems first. Earth's ships moved with amazing speed. They were smaller than the Vex ships, but much faster. They fired weapons that the Vex had never seen before. Beams that went through shields, missiles that changed direction to avoid defenses. On the Vex command ship, the Hive Lord Collective struggled to think clearly. Without the constant hum of the hive mind, it felt blind and deaf. Reconnect, it screamed at its workers. Fix the hive mind. But the quantum displacement array kept sending out its disruptive waves. The Vex couldn't reconnect. Commander Hae-Nul Shin led the boarding parties. Her ship pulled up next to a large Vex cruiser, and she and 50 soldiers in special battle suits jumped across the gap between ships. Remember, she told her team, the Vex aren't used to fighting as individuals. Use that against them. Inside the Vex ship, they found chaos. The Vex soldiers were bumping into each other, unsure what to do without the hive mind telling them. Hae-Nul's team moved quickly through the ship, stunning Vex troops and placing more quantum beacons in key locations. Meanwhile, Lieutenant Jiwoo Park had finished placing beacons on her assigned ships and was heading for the Vex flagship. This was the most dangerous part of her mission. The flagship had the strongest defenses and the most Vex soldiers. I'm at the entry point, she whispered into her communicator. Going in now. Back on Earth, Admiral Subin Choi revealed the next part of humanity's plan. Activate Dimensional Pocket, she ordered. In orbit around Earth, space itself seemed to tear open. From inside this tear came hundreds more human ships, Earth's true fleet size, 10 times larger than what the Vex had seen so far. The Vex thought we were weak because that's what we wanted them to think, Subin said to her officers. For 50 years, we've hidden our best technology. Now they'll see what humans can really do. As Hour 2 ended, the Vex fleet was in disarray. A third of their ships had been disabled. The rest were trying to retreat, but Earth's ships were too fast, cutting off their escape routes. Dr. Sang-Min Park monitored the battle from his lab. When his screen showed that all quantum beacons were in place, he contacted General Jun-Ho. We're ready for Hour 3. Jun-Ho gave the order. Activate the beacons. Across the solar system, and then across the galaxy, the small devices that Jiwoo and the other teams had planted began to glow. Each one created a tiny wormhole, a tunnel through space itself. Through these wormholes, Earth sent special bombs to every major Vex base and shipyard. Not bombs that would destroy worlds, but ones that would disable Vex technology. In just minutes, the Vex lost half their military power across the entire galaxy. The young Lumeri scientist, Prismatic, watched all this through long-range sensors. The Lumeri had been fighting the Vex for centuries, but had never managed to strike so deep into their territory at once. Prismatic sent a message to the Lumeri High Command. The humans are winning. We should help them. As Hour 3 reached its midpoint, Captain Do-hyun Kim led his fleet toward the biggest group of Vex ships. The Vex thought this war would be easy, he told his crew. They're learning that when humans fight, we don't fight to last centuries. We fight to win now. Hour 3 continued as Dr. Sang-min Park worked in Earth's main control center. His fingers moved quickly over screens, showing the locations of all quantum beacons across the galaxy. Small dots of light showed where each wormhole had opened in Vex territory. Status report, called Admiral Soo-bin Choi from the command platform above him. 80% of beacons are active, Sang-min replied. The Vex are trying to destroy them, but they're too late. On the main screen, they could see Vex ships exploding or drifting powerless in space, not just in Earth's system, but in dozens of star systems where the Vex had ruled for centuries. They never imagined an attack like this, Soo-bin said with a small smile. They thought distance would protect their home worlds. Suddenly, a new signal appeared on their screens. A fleet of crystal ships was entering the solar system. The Lumeri had arrived. Are they here to help us or fight us? Asked an officer. The answer came quickly. The Lumeri ships began firing at the Vex, their purple energy beams cutting through the confused Vex ships. They're helping us, Soo-bin said. Commander Yeon-jae's mission worked better than we hoped. On the lead Lumeri ship, Yeon-jae stood beside Prismatic, watching the battle unfold. The young Lumeri had convinced the High Command to join the fight after showing them how effectively humans were defeating the Vex. Your 5-hour plan is working, Prismatic said in a musical voice. The Vex are losing more ships in these hours than we destroyed in the last 50 years. Yeon-jae nodded. That's because we studied both your tactics and theirs. We found weaknesses that neither side saw. As Hour 4 began, the Vex Hive Lord finally managed to restore partial communication between some of its ships. The Vex began to fight back with more coordination, adapting their tactics to counter the human attacks. Captain Do-hyun Kim noticed the change. They're getting smarter, he told his crew. Push harder now. Across the battlefield, Lieutenant Ji-woo Park had reached the core of the Vex flagship. She carefully placed the last and most important quantum beacon, one much larger than the others. This beacon would open a wormhole big enough for Captain Do-hyun's ship to travel through directly to the Vex homeworld in Hour 5. Beacon is in place, she reported, but undetected. Heavy resistance. The sounds of fighting could be heard behind her. Do-hyun felt a stab of worry for his first officer and friend. Get out of there, Ji-woo. Trying, she answered, her voice strained. But they've blocked the exit routes. You may have to activate this one remotely. In the Vex flagship, the Hive Lord was beginning to understand what was happening. The humans weren't just fighting back. They were winning. In just 4 hours, they had done more damage to the Vex than the Lumeri had in centuries. How? The Hive Lord asked its advisors. How can they beat us so quickly? The advisors had no answer. The Vex had evolved to adapt slowly, making small changes over decades. They couldn't match the speed of human innovation. Dr. Sang-min watched as Hour 4 neared its end. Everything was going according to plan. The device that would end the war was ready. A special program that would rewrite the Vex hive mind, removing their desire to conquer while preserving their consciousness. It's almost time, he told Admiral Soo-bin. Hour 5 will begin soon. Soo-bin looked at the battle map. The Vex fleet was nearly destroyed. Their bases across the galaxy were in chaos, and the combined human and Lumeri forces were pressing their advantage. "Send the signal to Captain Do-hyun," she ordered. "Tell him to prepare for the final phase." The countdown to the end of the war had begun. Hour 5 began with a bright flash as the largest wormhole yet opened near Earth. It was large enough for Captain Do-hyun's ship, the Silent Watcher to fly through. "All systems ready," reported Navigation Officer Ta-won. "Wormhole is stable." Do-hyun looked at the empty seat where Lieutenant Ji-woo Park should have been. She was still trapped on the Vex flagship, fighting to survive after placing the final beacon. "Sir," said Communications Officer Kim Min-ho, "Lieutenant Ji-woo is on the line." Ji-woo's face appeared on the screen. She was hurt, with a cut on her forehead, and Vex soldiers could be seen trying to break through a door behind her. "Captain," she said, her voice steady despite the danger. "The beacon is working perfectly. You can reach the Vex homeworld now." "We're coming to get you first," Do-hyun said. Ji-woo shook her head. "No time. The Vex are trying to restart their main hive mind network. If they succeed, all our work will be for nothing." She took a deep breath. "I'll make sure this beacon stays active until you're through." Do-hyun understood what she was saying. She would stay and fight, possibly giving her life to make sure the mission succeeded. "Ji-woo," he began. "It's been an honor, Captain," she said with a small smile. Then the connection ended. Do-hyun sat silent for a moment. Then he straightened in his chair, set course for the wormhole. "We have a war to end." The Silent Watcher entered the wormhole. For a few seconds, the ship shook as it traveled through space in a way no human ship had ever done before. Then they emerged above a green planet, the Vex homeworld. "No signs they've detected us yet," reported Sensor Officer Ta-won. "Their defenses are focused outward, not in." "Begin approach," Do-hyun ordered, "and prepare the device." In the ship's cargo hold, a special container held Dr. Sangmin's creation, a device that could permanently change the Vex evolutionary cycle. It wouldn't destroy them but would transform them so they would no longer want to conquer other worlds. As they approached the planet, Vex ships finally noticed them and moved to attack. But Earth had studied Vex defenses for decades, and Do-hyun's ship easily avoided their fire. "We're in position," Navigation Officer Ta-won announced, ready to deploy the device. Do-hyun gave the order, "Deploy now." The ship released the device, which fell toward the heart of the Vex world, a massive structure that housed the central hive mind processor. The device entered the building through a vent and found its way to the core. On the Silent Watcher the crew watched their screens as the device activated. A wave of energy spread out from the central processor, washing over the entire planet. Back in Earth's system, the Vex ships suddenly stopped fighting. They drifted in space, not attacking or retreating. The Hive Lord Collective sent out a message that everyone could hear. "What? What have you done to us?" Admiral Subin responded. "We've changed you, not killed you. You'll still be the Vex, but without the need to destroy and conquer." The Hive Lord was silent for a long moment. Then, "We understand now. We see. Peace is possible." Across the galaxy, the same change happened to all Vex. The war that had raged for centuries was over. On the Vex flagship, Lieutenant Ji-woo Park watched in amazement as the Vex soldiers stopped trying to break through her door. They simply stood there, then slowly put down their weapons. The door opened, and Ji-woo prepared for her end. But the Vex just looked at her with their many eyes, then moved aside to let her pass. "It worked," she whispered. "It really worked." In Earth's command center, Admiral Subin Choi looked at the clock. 5 hours exactly had passed since they activated the quantum displacement array. "Send word to all ships and stations," she ordered. "The war is over. Humanity has won." 1 month after the 5-hour war, representatives from Earth, the Lumeri, and the changed Vex met on a neutral space station. The room was large, with a round table in the center where Admiral Subin Choi sat for Earth Admiral Crystallic for the Lumeri, and the Hive Lord Collective for the Vex. "This peace conference will now begin," said Subin, looking at each of the alien leaders. "We are here to decide how our three species will live together from now on." The Hive Lord spoke in a calmer voice than before. "We first wish to apologize for our actions. We now see that our drive to conquer was wrong. The changes humans made to our hive mind have let us think in new ways." Admiral Crystallic made the sound of crystal chimes. "The Lumeri are still cautious. Humans ended in 5 hours a war we fought for centuries. Such power makes us concerned." Subin nodded. "We understand your concern. But Earth wants peace, not a new empire. That's why we changed the Vex instead of destroying them." As they talked, Captain Do-hyun Kim stood by a window, looking out at the stars. He was thinking about Ji-woo. After the war ended, a Vex ship had brought her back to Earth. She was alive but had been badly injured. Now she was recovering in a hospital. "Captain Kim," came a musical voice. It was Prismatic, the young Lumeri who had helped Earth. "Yes." Do-hyun turned from the window. "I wanted to ask you something that puzzles many Lumeri. You had the power to destroy the Vex completely. Why didn't you use it?" Do-hyun thought for a moment. "Because ending a war isn't the same as winning one. True victory isn't just about defeating an enemy. It's about creating a better future." In another part of the station, Dr. Sang-min Park was meeting with scientists from all three species. They were starting a new research group to share technology safely. "The quantum beacons could be used for peaceful travel between our worlds," Sang-min explained. "And the Vex biotechnology could help cure many diseases." A changed Vex scientist agreed. "And Lumeri crystal technology could provide clean energy for all our worlds." Back on Earth, General Jun-ho Kang stood at a large window in Earth Defense Command, watching workers take apart some of the weapons they had built. With the war over, they didn't need such a large military anymore. "Having second thoughts?" asked Commander Hae-nul Shin, who stood beside him. "No," Jun-ho replied. "Just thinking about how strange it is. We prepared for war for 50 years, but our greatest victory was finding a way to end the war without destroying our enemy." Hae-nul nodded. "That's what makes humans different. We're good at fighting, but we're even better at finding unexpected solutions." 3 days later, a memorial ceremony was held for those who had died at the Titan Research Station. Among the speakers was Lieutenant Ji-woo Park, walking with the help of a cane. She stood before a stone monument with the names of all who had been lost. "They did not die in vain," she said. "Their sacrifice led to a peace that will last for generations." After the ceremony, Captain Do-hyun found Ji-woo sitting alone by a lake. "How does it feel to be a hero?" he asked. Ji-woo smiled. "I was just doing my job. The real heroes are people like Dr. Sang-min, who found a way to end a war without more killing." Do-hyun sat beside her. "Admiral Subin has asked me to be Earth's first ambassador to both the Lumeri and Vex worlds. I'd like you to come as my first officer, once you're healed." "A new adventure?" Ji-woo asked. "I'd like that." As the sun set over Earth, humans looked up at the stars with new hope. For centuries, two mighty civilizations had fought a war that seemed endless. But when humanity entered that war, victory took only 5 hours. Not because humans were better at destroying, but because they found a better way to win.